For most groups, the song that splits the fandom is a problem. For XG, it became a turning point. Howling is that track.
First we rockin', that's how we roll. Rock is hot cause it's stick that don't. Tough as diamonds, no sticks and stones.
Depending on who you ask, it's either their most powerful title song, or the moment they went completely overboard. And that clash is exactly what Rewired XG's sound. Before Howling, you could already see XG carving out their lane. 7 Japanese members under X-Gal-X, based in South Korea and raised in a trainee-style system, debuting in 2022 with Tippy Toes, then rolling out Mascara, Shooting Star, Left Right, and the first mini-album New DNA. Their team called the sound X-Pop, not quite K-pop, not quite J-pop, but a mix of hip-hop, R&B, trap, and pop meant to feel borderless and futuristic. That early era had a clear image, glossy beats, swagger-heavy rap, and hooks that were clean and instantly replayable. Shooting Star and Left Right especially gave them a reputation for polished, almost effortless cool. At the same time, there was always this sense that XG wanted to push further. Darker visuals, weirder beats, something more like a whole universe than just singles. By 2023's New DNA, that universe started to look real. The project was packed with genre switches, sci-fi imagery, and songs like Girl Gang and Puppet Show that showed how comfortable they were mixing heavy rap with eerie, conceptual storytelling.
Workflow, hustle game, never big fights with the girl game. All of my ladies are fire, rolling with creases. Don't like the look of this picture, boy, you think that I'm in love with you? Cry me a river, thought you was lit to leave the room extra.
Reviewers were already describing them as a girl group that didn't really fit inside normal K-pop or J-pop boxes. Then 2024 arrives, and XG slammed down Woke Up, their first fully rap-driven single.
Woke up looking like this, so don't get under my skin. Woke up looking like this.
It's built on 808 bass and edgy East Asian sound design, basically a 3-minute flex on how hard they can go when they drop the singing and just spit. It won them a lot of respect as rappers, but there was a recurring complaint among netizens and reviewers. The instrumental felt a bit flat compared to how aggressive the girls were. For those listeners, the rap was doing all the heavy lifting. That's the tension sitting under everything as XG start teasing their second mini-album, or pre-release singles Something Ain't Right in July and IYKYK in October sketch out a mood that's moodier and more atmospheric than their earlier bright era.
I know something ain't right. You've been acting funny lately. You ain't gotta lie. Got me. If you know, you know. Tell me if you wanna ride. Pass it on the spotlight. Only we can get it right.
At the same time, they launched their first world tour, The First Howl, leaning into wolf imagery and this idea of XG and alphas moving like a pack from city to city. Even before anyone hears Howling, you can feel the concept shifting, less neon, more wilderness, more teeth. When the full tracklist for Awe drops, it becomes obvious that Howling isn't just another comeback. The album opens with Howl, then jumps straight into Howling, followed by a space meeting skit and the rest of the tracklist, YKYK, Something Ain't Right, In the Rain, Woke Up Remix, and Is This Love? Putting Howl and Howling back to back tells you the title track isn't just a song, it's the door into the rest of the world they're building. Now we finally hit the song itself. Howling sits as track 2, composed by Chancellor, Jacobs, Nave, Jae Young and lyrics, with Chancellor and Jacobs handling the arrangement, part of the core production team that's been shaping XG's sound across most of their discography. From the very first seconds, it feels heavier than their previous titles. There's an ominous guitar line creeping underneath, thick drums, and a low end that makes the whole thing feel like it's pacing around you. Multiple reviewers describe its energy as ominous and creeping, with wolf howls woven into the sound design. The structure sets up this roller coaster feeling. The verses are rap-heavy and dense, full of bilingual flows and overlapping ad-libs. It's not just one member dropping a verse and stepping back. It's stacked, like the whole pack is talking over each other, flexing, pushing the beat forward. Then, almost out of nowhere, the pre-chorus opens up. The production pulls back into airy, almost weightless space, and the vocals turn crystalline, a clear lift before the song drops again. Critics love this contrast, describing the pre-chorus as a much-needed breather and smooth, compared to the aggression around it. The chorus is where the split starts. Instead of a big sugary melodic hook like Shooting Star, Howling leans into a chant, repetitive lines, echoed calls, the literal wolf howl in the background. Some listeners are obsessed with how it feels. They talk about the plucked rhythm in the back, the echoing howls, the sense that the forest is moving around you when the hook hits. Others hear that same section and call it underwritten, saying the melody itself is too simple for such a huge build. Reviewers single out the chorus as generic or not fully developed, even while admitting the texture is addictive. Lyrically, Howling stays close to the wolf pack idea. The song talks about running together, refusing to back down, and turning that animal instinct into unity. Fans on forums and Reddit connect the lines and imagery to earlier XG lore, pointing out how the howl motif and talk of we rather than I make the song feel like an invitation into their universe rather than just a story about the members. To alphas, the song doesn't just sound wild, it feels like it's including them in the hunt. As soon as the MV goes live with the album, the full picture forms. Without touching on any of the later discourse around other artists or directors, we can say this: visually, Howling shows XG as figures entering a rigid, artificial world and bending it into something more organic and wild. There's a clear contrast between structured city spaces and untamed, surreal environments. The styling is animalistic and witchy rather than cute, fur textures, deep colors, and choreography that keeps the members low to the ground, moving in tight formations like a single creature. It matches the sound almost too well. If New DNA looked like a sci-fi lab, AWE looks like something escaped and ran into the forest. And then the reactions start pouring in. One wave of listeners, especially music nerds and hardcore alphas, latch onto Howling immediately. On Reddit and reaction channels, people describe getting chills, pointing out the ridiculous production, the way the instruments and vocal layering keep shifting under your feet, and how the track uses every part of XG's toolkit: the rap, the harmonies, the performance power, all at once. Some even call it the song that represents X-pop better than anything they've done before, because it's risky and fully committed. On the other side, the pushback is quick. Casual listeners and some netizens say the same things the positive camp loves, but as criticism. Where fans say layered, they say crowded. Where fans say feral, they say too noisy. That chant-like chorus becomes the main target. People complain that it doesn't stick in the same way as Left-Right, that it's more like a performance piece than a song you'd sing with your friends. Review blogs echo this, praising the verses and production but wishing the hook hit harder or had a more memorable melody. What almost everyone agrees on is that Howling fixes a specific issue from Woke Up. Where Woke Up had fierce rap over a relatively static instrumental, Howling pushes the backing track forward with that driving guitar, shifting textures, and bursts of electronic noise. Critics literally point out that Howling solves the problem that made Woke Up feel flat, turning the same aggressive energy into something that actually evolves as the track goes on. It's like they took the feedback and cranked the whole idea up a level. Meanwhile, AWE as a whole reinforces what Howling is doing. The wolf motif runs throughout the era, and in interviews, the members talk about awe as this mix of fear, respect, and wonder, the feeling you get when you face something bigger than you. The pre-release singles Something Ain't Right and IYKYK, plus softer tracks like In the Rain and Is This Love, all orbit the same space: relationships, uncertainty, transformation. But Howling is the point where all of that emotion gets turned into something loud and almost overwhelming. The album is released primarily in English, yet the imagery and sound make it feel like a self-contained universe. Live, the song shifts again. On the first Howl World Tour, Howling becomes a centerpiece of the setlist. Reports from shows talk about venues shaking when the chorus drops, fans screaming the chants back, and entire arenas howling on cue. That physical experience changes how some people hear the track. What felt like too much in headphones suddenly makes sense when you're one voice inside a massive pack. Tour reviews frame the show as cementing XG as a major live act in their own right, often singling out Howling as one of the defining moments in the set. By the time the initial promotion cycle ends, something interesting has happened. If you watch fan ranking videos or scroll through comment sections where people list their favorite XG title tracks, Howling rarely sits in the middle. It's either at the very top, their best title period, or way down with people saying they prefer the cleaner pop of Shooting Star or the more nostalgic vibe of Left-Right. The song has become a litmus test. Liking or disliking it says a lot about what kind of XG fan you are. For music nerds, Howling is a gift. It gives you things to argue about: structure, mix, the chorus, the rap/vocal balance, even how the sound design ties into the lore. The verses are almost like flex tapes, the pre-chorus is a micro-ballad, and the chorus is a ritual chant. Some listeners love that it refuses to stay in one lane. Others think that's exactly why it fails for them. They want one clear, big hook, not 3 different ideas spliced into a title track. And that's where you really see how Howling Rewired XG sound. Before this, people could still mentally file XG under cool K-pop adjacent group with strong rap line and glossy singles. After Howling and AWE, that label doesn't quite fit anymore. The wolf imagery, the sense of a pack, the commitment to building eras that feel like whole worlds, it all locks into place here. Future projects like XDM, Unidentified Waves keep pushing the experimental side, remixing their songs into Jersey club, rock, and other styles, but you can trace that boldness back to the risks they took with Howling. Commercially, Howling isn't their biggest chart hit, but it still makes noise. The track trended on YouTube in multiple countries and even reached the US Billboard Rap Digital Song Sales chart, while AWE as a whole picked up international attention and year-end list placements, showing that the era connected beyond just one song. And yet, inside the fandom, the track's impact feels less about numbers and more about how it reshaped expectations. Now, whenever XG announce a new comeback, the question isn't just will it be good? It's will it be as daring as Howling? The song has quietly become the benchmark. If they release something safer, fans compare it to Howling and say it doesn't hit as hard. If they go experimental again, people immediately frame it as another Howling moment. That's what happens when a divisive track becomes a reference point. In the end, Howling is less about being universally loved and more about drawing a line in XG's story. On one side, you have the polished, rising group building their name with bangers that almost everyone can agree on. On the other side, you have a wolf pack that's willing to risk being too much, if it means sounding like nobody else. The fact that fans are still arguing over where Howling belongs in their discography is kind of the proof that it worked. So when you think about XG's most divisive song, maybe the real question isn't, is it their best, or is it noise? Maybe the better question is, if Howling hadn't rewired what we expect from them, would XG still feel like XG today? And where do you stand in that split? Are you on the side that wants another clean anthem? Or are you ready to keep howlin' with them into whatever comes next?